Good morning, students. Let us discuss the next lesson, social movements in our times. So, what is the meaning of social movement? So, sometimes people collectively fought against some social issues and political issues which are against to the people. So at the time, sometimes with the help of the leaders, sometimes only the people themselves react against those issues. So already one issue is going on in our country. So all farmers are fighting against the agricultural acts which are enacted by the central government. Now that movement is going on. So no leader was there behind them. Only farmers themselves fighting against that act. So like that. So sometimes people react, fight against the some issues. Those are called social movements. You are also participated one social movement in our Telangana in 2014. Okay, directly or indirectly, all the students, all the citizens of Telangana were participated in that movement. So like that, so many movements were started and achieved their goals in the world. Okay, so during the first half of the 20th century, means 1900 to 1950, so the world was dominated by the great wars, revolutions, emergence of German fascism, Soviet socialism, Western liberalism, national liberation movements, etc. In the first half of the 20th century, means 1900 to 1950, those days in our country also, our leaders started one of the most important social movement, that is against the Britishers. Okay, that was called national movement. Okay, like that. So at the time we saw different type of movements also, Soviet socialism, Western liberalism, national liberalization movements, like that. So after the end of the Second World War, so in the time only Second World War was started and ended. So many at the time, so many countries got independence. So many colonies got independence, like India, China, Indonesia, Nigeria, Egypt. Not only these, almost 50 countries got independence at the time. So that was the new era began in the world. Okay, so this was an era of economic growth and prosperity of for most of the countries, but also of growing tensions in many countries. So at the same time, so many tensions were created in the countries. So the people who are denied get equal rights. Okay, discrimination so was there at the time. So civil rights and other movements of 1960, already I think you most of the students know about this civil rights movement in America. So one of the most important movements was the American civil rights movement. So it fought for equal treatment of Afro Americans or Black Americans, and against rules that permitted segregation of blacks and whites in schools. So at the time, there was a discrimination between blacks and whites. Okay, so who are called Afro Americans? The Negroes or Africans who are captured in the Africa and transported to America as slaves. Those are called Afro Americans, especially African people. So who settled in the America, who brought from Africa to work in the fields of America. So those are called Afro Americans. So those were faced discrimination. Okay. So what are the discriminations are there? Segregation of blacks and whites in schools, buses and public places. That is the one problem. Second one is discriminated against them in appointments, housing and even voting rights. So there was no equality between white people and black people, Americans and Afro Americans. So this movement reached its height during the 1960s. It was largely non-violent and took the form of massive demonstrations, marches, civil disobedience. Here civil disobedience means violating discriminatory laws peacefully, and boycott of discriminatory services like buses which segregated whites and blacks. So this non-violence movements they learned from India. So our leader Mahatma Gandhi showed this path to the world. Okay, the Africans also took non-violent movement from Mahatma Gandhi and they followed in America. So boycott of discriminatory services like buses which segregated whites and blacks. So one of the important actions was the year-long boycott of buses by blacks in Montgomery, led by Dr. Martin Luther King. What they did? So against that law, against the discrimination, so people boycotted the buses year long. So because of that bus company got losses. So eventually forced the court to ban segregation of seats for blacks and whites in buses in 1956. So financially they got losses. That's why immediately the government banned that. At the same time, a powerful movement was going on for ending segregation in schools. Black and white children had to go to different schools. On 28 August 1963, more than 2 lakh people marched to Washington demanding the passage of Civil Rights Acts and demanding among other things like program for generation of employment, full and fair employment, decent housing, the right to vote and adequately integrated education system in which whites and blacks could study together. So at the time, the black and white students are having different schools. They should go to study to different schools. So here in India also, our leader Ambedkar faced this type of discrimination in the school. Okay, I think you remember that. This was addressed among others by Dr. King, who made his historic speech, "I have a dream." So Martin Luther King, so at the time of this movement, so he addressed with the lakhs of people. So his speech began with "I have a dream." So that was one of the famous speech by Martin Luther King. He was dreamed that at least his children may live in America with equality. That is the meaning of his speech. Okay, so this became an inspiration all over the world for leading non-violent social movements for reform and change. As the movement grew in strength, several viewpoints emerged. Many people agreed with Dr. King that it was possible to achieve equality for all people through peaceful means and persuading the government to pass necessary laws. So many people agreed, so we can achieve our rights with peaceful movements also. Some other people thought that, like Malcolm Ten, were of the view that blacks were a separate nation and should fight for independence from white rule. So another argument is, so they can fight for separate nation also. So like that in India also, that was happened. So our country at the time of independence bifurcated into two countries. So at the time some people also demanded separate country for black people. So they also felt that in order to win power they will have to use all the means including armed conflict. So a large section of people who actively participated in the civil rights movement were black women. So who felt that their voice was not being heard even within the movement which was dominated by men. So that movement was equality. In that movement also there was no equality between men and women. So many women thought that there was no any importance for women in that movement. So in fact no woman was allowed to speak in the famous Washington March. They felt that women needed to assert themselves for the equality for women. Okay, so finally in 1964, July 2nd, so American government passed the Civil Rights Act 1964. So that was proposed by President John F. Kennedy in June 1963, but unfortunately he was assassinated on November 22nd, 1963. Later, the President Johnson proposed this act. So the American Congress was accepted. Finally, the Civil Rights Act 1964 was passed. Okay, next, human rights movement in the USSR. So another powerful country at the time was USSR against the USA. So in those days USSR and the countries of Eastern Europe which were within the sphere of influencing of the USSR had a government which did not allow free multi-party elections, free uncensored press or media, or even freedom of expression or movement for ordinary people. So at the time communist governments was there in USSR. So in that under that government people not allowed freely to express as to participate in elections, or even the press also under the control of the governments. So these governments were constantly under fear of conspiracies to stabilize them and kept a close control over all activities of people. As people grew tired of such controls, many movements for human rights, freedom of expression, movement, and free press took place in different parts of USSR and Eastern Europe. So, in countries like Hungary, um, Czechoslovakia, and Poland. So, this also took the form of demand for freedom from the control of USSR over them. So, like that, another movement started in USSR against the censor on media and for freedom. Some of them, these movements also received support from the anti-communist countries, including the USA and UK. So the people who are fighting against the USSR, they got support from another countries like USA and UK. So these movements for human rights had many shades of differences. Some of these trends called for greater freedom for common people, while others sought to dismantle the socialist system as it existed in these countries. So Alexander, the famous writer, and Andrei Sakharov, the nuclear scientist, were important leaders for this movement. So finally, they achieved those goals. Okay, so under the leadership of USSR President Gorbachev, so who initiated a process of reform called Glasnost to bring greater freedom for the people. So at the time, USSR also split into different countries. Okay, next, that was the second movement in the world. And another movement, social movement, started in the different countries in the year 1970 and 1980, that is anti-nuclear and anti-war movements. So in the beginning of the 20th century, in 1900 to 1950, so our world faced the two world wars. Okay, so the movement against war and nuclear arms, the entire world was witness to the horrors of nuclear bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. So despite this, leading superpowers like the USA, USSR, Britain, and France began building arsenals of nuclear weapons and justifying them as means of deterring the other powers from using them. So those were the days of intensive Cold War between the USA and USSR and America's war with Vietnam. So already we have studied Vietnam War against USA in the previous classes, how they fought against the powerful country. Okay, how the America tried to destroy the forests and fields in the Vietnam. Okay, which type of weapons they used, we already studied in the previous class. So the entire world was constantly under the fear of another world war. They thought that again the third world war may start. So it was feared that if a war broke out and a nuclear weapons were used, entire mankind would be wiped out of the earth. Even now also, if any tension created between India and Pakistan, all the country people thought that it may be lead to the third world war. So how many will be killed, how many countries will be destroyed. So some people may be estimated in every time. Okay, so thousands of scientists and intellectuals from across the world campaigned for abolishing all nuclear weapons and insisted that USA and USSR come to an agreement and end the futile arms race. In Vietnam conflict, it is estimated that as many 8 lakh to 30 lakh Vietnamese military and civilians were killed. So apart from equally large number of Cambodians and Laotians also were killed. USA did not see any civilian deaths, but a large number of military personnel died and more were physically handicapped. So Vietnam was a largely forested and poor nation comparison with their opponents USA and France. The Vietnamese used guerrilla warfare techniques to fight the war. The USA invented and used newer arsenals like chemical weapons, including napalm bombs. So those are also called orange bombs. So destroying complete villages. So at the time, the Vietnamese army hid in the forest and attacked on the USA military. So that was called guerrilla war. To destroy the forest, they used different war weapons also. So during the early 1970s, more and more American soldiers returned from Vietnam with serious doubts about the wisdom of bombing innocent people who in no way posed to a threat to the Americans. More and more Americans were also unhappy about sending their children to war in distinct Vietnam. So thus mass protests swept across America against the Vietnam War. So this eventually forced the US government to end the war and have leave Vietnam in 1975. The success of this campaign inspired peace movements across the world. Next, the nuclear arms race intensified after the end of Vietnam War as more and more countries competed with each other to stockpile nuclear arms. Companies which produced these arms called the military industrial complex and the government tried to create a war panic among the common people so that they could support greater expenditure of taxpayers money in nuclear arms. So at that time, all the countries, USA, France, America, Britain, they spent much percentage of their country's income on the weapons to produce the weapons. Okay, so gradually, many people, especially in Europe, realized that war mongering and the consequent arms race only made the world more unsafe and increased the possibility of a distress war for all countries, even those not directly involved in the conflict. So at the time of the Second World War, so all the countries divided into two parts. So some were supported to USA, some were supported to USSR by forcefully. So either they have a direct involvement or not. So all the countries must be participate in that conflicts. Okay. So massive protests took place against the policies of the governments, demanding that they began negotiations with other governments to reduce nuclear arms and work towards peace. So another movement became strong. So as a result of these pressures, the USA and the USSR, the main competitors at the time, came into an agreement to reduce the arms or stockpiles. So first negotiation started with strategic arms limitation talks SALT, which however were unsuccessful. Finally, in the year 1991, so another meeting was held between those countries, Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. So negotiated the largest and most complex arms control treaty in the history, and its final implementation in late 2001 resulted in the removal of about 80% of all strategic nuclear weapons then in existence. Already which were produced. They try to defused those arms. A little while after the signing of the treaty, the USSR was dissolved and in its place a new Russian state was formed. With this ended the long period of Cold War and the constant threat of a catastrophic world war. So why? Because now only one powerful country is there in our world, that is America. So that's why the Cold War was ended between USSR and USA. Why? Because the USSR split into small nations. This did not, however, mean the end of war or violence between countries, as we have witnessed the distress wars in Eastern Europe, Iraq, and Afghanistan. So, after the forming the UNO, United Nations of Organizations, the main aim of the UNO was to prevent the wars, but that was failed. So after the forming the UNO, also so many wars broken between the countries. So during the last phase of the existence, the USSR, a major accident took place in its nuclear plant in Chernobyl. This caused the death of a large number of workers in Chernobyl, but more important, it contaminated the atmosphere of very large region, including many other countries of Europe. Its effect created a new awareness among the people of the world about the danger of nuclear power, whether for peaceful or warlike purpose. If you use the nuclear for any purpose, either for peaceful purpose to create a electric or to use for war purpose, both are danger to us. So people realized that. So it helped to merge anti-war concerns with the concerns of environmental protection. So like that, so many social movements broke in our world. Okay, so next part of the lesson we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.